Solitude for the heat rips it asunder as if it's a grim hunter of molecules. However, this beat ascends combusting of fossil fuels, and in that particular instance, I approve. That's the only kind of heat I like. When I walk the street at night, headphones squeezing tight like pythons that need a bite. I feel like I got the power cosmic like Norrad. This is what arises when you're caught in purgatory's grasp. Shadow walking with the fast evolving vast explorer staff, cataloging all the data that he passes on his path. As it happens, if you could see atoms as they form a mass, they would appear as entire galaxies flashing forward fast like starships in hyperdrive. Stars turn to stripes and lines. He's taken to a world in which he's drawn to his rightful mind that's lost, giving sight the blind, a gift of unimagined worth. His beats invoking voluntary flames like when a dragon bursts. It's like freight, despite being split in half at birth, finding a way to still slay. Anomaly attracting lurk, surviving with no understanding of why they're always after her. And all of this while trapped in a future where no magic works within her lies. The stimuli that even she barely knows, driven by an inner eye. Vision rises from her very soul. There are those who are so distinct they feel like they're alone, who when surrounded a mountain of people it's like a barren hole. So as the signal of the kindreds who share their woe, they foster this inner strength to generate a glaring glow. Their whole radius mightily shoving all at once, layered pulsation and light production as strong as suns. But these beams can only be seen with certain eyes by unique beings with the sort of minds that diversify. One can only become truly immortalized by carving a place for themselves in their observers' minds. They must do things that could not be ignored by time. So those who witness their deeds tell their stories before they die. There's always some external source that calls forth my rhymes, and I've been guided body of water with swords inside. My thoughts are sharpened to the point divides my skulls like a porcupine. I walk a distorted line, an alternate world divides. Chimeric, I'm the result of multiple worlds combined. Trapped behind mirrors that hold what's before my eyes. I am what's reflected off a surface, multifaceted, a blend of several imperfect, blurry photos shattering. I don't see life quite the same as most imagine it. I traipse alone in labyrinths containing no inhabitants, wandering through mazes within a maze that's cartographic-less, on an ageless quest to roam the aimless roads where shadows live. Cold, cavernous, chasm imaginative, light flashes and life happens by aggregate ashes collide and travel through time like happy accidents attached and tied. Elaborate designs comprised of fathomless, conjured and curved thoughts emerge, eventuate. The bubble you're in is constructed by what you intimated. Structure illustrates its origin, your mental state. So be mindful of what it's absorbing as it inflates. You may terraform an atmosphere that you can't tolerate, trapped inside a hostile habitat that you cannot escape. A jungle within which you must survive, sprung from little seeds, collapsed by danger, the maturation of your decision trees. So tread with zero gravity, if that's at all possible. Mark my words or not, if they're just a grain of salt to you, I point at brains unconscious shoot. I just aim to offer truth, but perhaps you don't put forth effort when taking off your fruit. This world provides agonies, custom made, offer you attachments that perhaps the sufferer may not remove. But there are some unfeigned comrades who can pluck the pain and loss from you. Of course not entirely, but much will fade far from view. The vague chain reaction of vivid psionic sorcery, distinct interpretations of lenses that all but orphan grief. A peek behind the curtain, an author contrite indeed. Long ago, misdiagnosed monsters that like to bleed, while I'm peace both with how I chose to and not to perceive. One shouldn't treat discarding their instincts like a trivial deed, despite the fact that either way I write what I mean. Certain times that won't suffice, my appetite won't be appeased. I wish to keep a firm grip on who I am innately, the objective to ask to project from myself to embrace me, the connectedness of widespread individuals tethered with the strength of the methyltryptamine enhanced limbic resonance, a web of which is threaded with allosynaptic messages, enetic rifts between which transmissions and receptions slip, braided on all scales, both macro and quantum level stitch, a few and no match for a slew of atomic specialists. We may all exist in the truth where the bottom never is, on the top sitting confused as qualms are measureless, peering over the edge of a growing hole with deference. Our souls longing for recompense, but fated to haunt the precipice. So seek, but don't be so distraught if you never find. A journey is defined by the during, not the finish line.
He's in the room, isn't he? I mean, sorry, I kind of got interrupted there. Lyrically savage, bar heavy. I mean, this guy does not like choruses, and that's something that, for as far as MC Olympics are concerned, a lot of deep, heavy bars in there. Kind of hard to follow because it was so long with no breaks. Got a little distracted. Got a little. I lost my attention a little bit halfway through, albeit my family was coming home from the park and I heard all the background chatter, so I kind of got distracted. I didn't give it the best listen, but what I heard was fantastic. I'm gonna give it an 8.2. and I'm gonna weigh my vote on what you guys say because you guys got a better listen than I did. Ignacio, what are you saying?
Okay, excuse me. Um, it was very lyrically dense, very lyrically dense. Which is not a bad thing, but when you're only giving it a first listen, it's going to be really hard to catch everything. And I don't know. I did find myself kind of getting lost a little bit partway through. Just I don't know.
Keep up.
Yeah, trying to keep up and just trying to like, yeah.
Just understand what he's saying.
I mean, I got what he was saying. The stuff I was catching, I got what he was saying, but it was just so much, and there was no breather. Like, just needed a little bit of a break. Something, you know what I mean? Just give me a little break, real quick. You know, just let me digest something you just heard, real quick. The beat wasn't like, you know, crazy intricate layered. It was definitely made to highlight the MC.
Yeah.
You know, which you know, I guess if, in that regard, I guess it did what it was supposed to do. I'm gonna give it an 8.
8. LP, what are you saying?
Yeah. So the lyricism was excellent, and the breath control was really phenomenal. I agree. It was too dense, and the brain can only process so much. And especially lyricism and verbiage of this degree and the way that he was stringing it together. There was no inflection to highlight anything. It was just very monotone throughout. So you had to put a lot of mental energy into something this heady to process it in a first listen in real time. And the beat was distracting for me to even try to do that. So I don't even know what this was about, honestly. I tried. I can't even tell you. But that's not to say that I wouldn't listen to Stranded more. I much preferred the first track that we heard tonight because that beat was pleasant enough that I could draw me in and I could pay closer attention. But even that's going to need another listen or two. It's a certain form of art here. It's an acquired taste. I'm going to give it a 7.75.
7.75. Chuck, what are you saying?
So this is, I feel like this track, I have the same criticism as I did on the first, and that, you know, which I think, Iggy, you weren't here for, but you know, my overall kind of takeaway on it was, you know, like I wanted to hear what he had to say, but for most of the things he was trying to say, he kind of made them too complicated. You know, it was like overcomplicating what he was trying to say.
What the point was.
Right. It's like so much so that it gets lost, you know? And, you know, like that didn't happen on everything, but on a lot of it, you know, it was like, okay, I know what you're trying to, wait, what the fuck are you talking about? You know? And, and it's just, it's unfortunate because, you know, it's like, you can tell that the skill is there and the potential is there, but it's almost like he's trying too hard to demonstrate how complicated he can be to the point of losing what he's saying.
Yeah.
And so I think the messaging, most of the messaging gets lost because of that. And that's unfortunate. I took no issue with the beat at all. Or his delivery, but it was just kind of the same as the first one where it, you know, like every point, not every, but most of the points he was making and the ideas he was conveying became overcomplicated to the point of losing it. So, you know, for that, you know, 7.2, and just, there's a lot of potential there for it to be better, but you know,
and that's where, you know what, it's funny you say that, Chuck, because I've got in a mode as an MC where I try and say as much as I can with as little words as possible. Like that's my goal right now. I want to have a 4-bar verse with 4 words. You know, like I want it to be fucking as skeleton as possible. That's my new format. I want to pick one word that says a sentence every time I can. And it felt like he was just kind of expanding maybe a little too far to have a cohesive train of thought for the track. However, everyone wants to the playlist, so on the playlist it goes. The next one we got, guys, is from Del the Funky Homosapien, the Challenger.
Deltron 3030.
Oh, fuck. Oh, my fuck.
Interplanetary adversaries battling for supremacy. Sounds like a good way to build up my infamy. Soon as automators sent for me, we headed over to receive our registration forms from the Galactic Embassy.
Yes, may I help you?
Remember me? To escape a global panic, we had to intercede.
Oh, you're here for the battle forms?
Yeah, can we get them for free?
I'm afraid not. You'll have to pay the entrance fee.
It was worth a try when we first arrived on Mercury. Gravity adjustment was a must-hit. Step up contestant, number 12, I was 13. He started bursting, ammunition that wasn't working. His rudimentary technical abilities couldn't kill me. Knocked me for a loop, but I could still breathe. He had the crowd going by appearance. Here comes the anticipated interference from his squad of guards. I bust back with an onslaught of hydrothermic cloud to burn the third eye. Don't outnumb, but I come with heat and trigger a massive explosion to the beat. They hit me with compressed air, left my chest bare. My sonic stun gun takes them out by the next snare.
That's fucking fire. Is that it?
We won the bout just as the oxygen tanks were running out. So we're back to the ship, pull a map from a blimp, manipulate the cursor, recharge our essentials, set the coordinates, then flow through a trillion miles of space with style and grace. Next stop Pluto to rock these new flows. Atmosphere methane, be strategic like a chess game. Leave this MC with chest pain. I had to battle a shadow in his black light form. He dazzled me, adding 3 points to his score. Engulfed my microphone with darkness, adding 3 more. The panel started to roar. I had to find the core of his power. He stretched his text, causing me to black out. It took my dad out, I couldn't back out. It took out the sound, man, I'm taking a pounding. I bust out an acapella, that's astounding. Project a unibeam through his spleen. Pulled out my X-ray cannons to disintegrate the phantom. It's non-finite cell structure ruptured. It's forming again, a bust up into clusters. Shadowy masses spread to the greater darkness of outer space. Now I place first among artists.
Song keeps ending and restarting.
What have you? Next destination.
The colony of Cecilia and our colony.
Oh, this is appealing. Hyperspace with Mike in place. We was off, breathing frost in the void, thinking, what if we had lost? Ha! Entertaining ignorant thought. Land ho, Cecilia, we enter the port. Fill out a few forms, then we meet our challenger named Qzar.
No matter who you are, I'll handle ya.
He's a real charmer. I threw on my plasteel armor. He wants to absorb the talents that I work so hard for. A biter hardcore. I busted a few shots and opened them like a car door. He was a quadruped, 4 arms. He hit me with 4 arms made of bronze. I said, automator, play the song. It was the theme. Made a slight alteration in my scheme. Set him up with a cognition beam with this double team. Lean toward his dome piece, serene the back of his neck with a cranial disruption siphon. Squeezed out his brain like juice, like a python.
Fuck, this one's so tough on me because like Del had better flow and more fun and obviously much more developed in his ability to ride the beat in different ways. Stranded was much more monotone and singular rhyming pattern and kept it very, very steady, but he was much more bar heavy and much more lyrically inclined more than fun inclined. That's kind of the deciding factor I'm deciding here now. Do I want fun and feel good? Because I had more fun listening to Del. It was more fun. But was it better lyrically than Stranded? I don't think so. So I'm going to give that an 8.4, and I'm going to give it to Stranded. Ignacio, what do you say?
okay, that was motherfucking shit, boy. Deltron 3030 is an amazing listen to. An amazing.
Explain that to me.
listen.
Can you explain that
Oh
to me
my-
one more time for 7 years' sake?
What do you mean?
What is Deltron 3030?
The name of the album.
That's just an album. That's it.
Well, it's more than that.
Well, okay, it is, but for the sake of this, Chuck, it's just the name of just the name of the album.
Well,
I know
is.
it is, but it isn't. I know it is, but it isn't. But because if we keep it going into the weeds more, he's gonna go back to his complex. So
I know.
For right now,
Ah!
it is by Deltron. No, it is by Del the Fucking Homosapien, and we're just gonna say the album's Deltron 3030. Okay, he's a character, but we're just gonna say it's the name of the album. Okay.
Fine.
The storytelling. I haven't even let me finish saying what I'm saying, man.
Nice sweater, by the way.
Oh, thank you. You know, Temple of Bars, I'm saying. Temple of Bars. But no, dude, it's just the pen work was cool. Like it was fun. Like you're right, it was fun, but the descriptive nature of how he wrote this piece of the story in the album is just you didn't have to know what was going on. You could follow the story, and you don't need to know what track was after or before. You could follow this track and know what story he's telling just by this, by listening to this. I'm gonna give that an 8.75. And that's a motherfucking amazing track to me.
So you're picking that. LP, what are you saying?
Yeah. So I don't know this album or this song. This is my first time hearing it. I know, right? Look at Chuck's face. I know. Surprise. I know. I'm missing out.
Got to.
I will now. It was geeky and descriptive and done really, really well that way. I mean, gosh. It had all the elements. The beat was fantastic. This is a contender for Song of the Night. I'll give it a 9.3.
9.3. Chuck, what do you say?
Okay, so this album holds a special place for me. And so I'm trying to evaluate this without bias, and it is hard.
This is Rip the Jacker.
Oh shit.
So this particular album is what I listened to straight through with my son when he was like between 7 and 8 that he got into hip hop because of. And we'd be like listening. We'd like listen to this whole album over the course of a week, and we'd be like a couple tracks in, and then like the next time he'd get in the truck, be like, "Hey, Dad, can we hear the next part of the story?" And because like he heard the whole thing as like because the whole album is this epic story, and so this album has like a special place for me, and so I'm trying to take that out of it. And it's hard, but I'm trying to take that out of it. I think this is a great example of kind of Del's creativity. With kind of the storytelling, I guess if you go into it not realizing that it's part of a story, then maybe it can be like, what the fuck is he talking about with all these different planets, and then that can kind of get confusing. But the story of the whole album is kind of this, it's the whole album is a story kind of set in space and this like dystopian future, and then him and Dan the Automator, basically have to save the world with hip hop, and so it's set in this kind of future, and I think knowing that gives context to this. And if you don't know that, then it can be like, what the fuck is he talking about with all these different planets in space and Pluto and Mercury? That doesn't make any sense. But it makes sense if you understand that there's a story behind it. That's why I was saying there's more to it, because if you don't know that, then it can be like, this doesn't make any sense, but I think even not knowing that, if you can be willing to go along with it, not understanding the context, then there's still a good story there, and the storytelling is really great. His delivery is a great example of Dell's delivery. You know, how he just kind of has that like weird, funky kind of Del the fucking Homo sapien. Yeah. I'm rambling. It's great. I love it. 9.
9. And the crowd has spoken. Del the funky Homo sapien pick and choose. Going to MC Olympic finals for the second time in his life. Second time in his life. I'm looking for the second grouping. There it is right there. Thank you, Ignacio. That is fucking perfect.
What a great idea for an album.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's like it's
So
very
much
cool.
fun.
So if you're gonna listen to it, listen to the album straight through. Don't pick
Okay.
tracks off it. Just listen to the album
yeah.
straight through.
So I would listen to this. I would listen to that in the morning on my way to the walking to the bus stop. We would smoke on the way to the bus, and I would listen to this when on the walk there, and then on the ride to school, and then listen to it again on the way. Oh, dude, yeah, this album's amazing. You got to go for
Right
it.
on. Well, guys, we have edged our way to the final battle pairing of the evening. It is AK with self-titled versus Dom with Apathy. This is going to be